Hey guys, Brad here from the Half a Dozen Hospitality Podcast. And as always, super excited to bring you a brand new episode this week. Again, it is just me, the mic, and the camera. Get onto YouTube if you can. Check us out on YouTube. I wanted to hop on today and talk about things that are super near and dear to my heart. Not only the industry, but customer experiences within the industry and also culture. And I feel like without one, the other doesn't exist. And I wanted to talk about how we can impact the culture and therefore create a better customer experience for our customers within the hospitality space, which is always a challenge with so many other things that are the concern of, say, leadership groups or owners and operators or head chefs, general managers, anyone's in a leadership role. It can be very, I say daunting a lot. It can be very daunting for them to have to worry about everything else under the sun seemingly, and then have to worry about culture. But I challenge this industry to spend more time on culture and see how that will directly impact your customer experience. And I bring this up today because just yesterday I had one of the best experiences I've had in a long time in my city here in Vancouver, but also just exposed to anything in this industry, whether it be a fine dining restaurant or a cafe. And yesterday happened to be a cafe, and I'll give you the name here in a minute and give them a quick shout out. But I was truly blown away by the customer experience, but also by how the culture impacted that customer experience. Now, obviously, when I go out and I dine or I grab coffee or I have a coffee meeting, or if I'm out and about and I'm in and engaging with the industry, I look at things probably a lot different than the average Joe would. But I always am convinced that even the average Joe, although he or she may not be necessarily looking for certain things, I think subconsciously things are actually either impacting them positively or negatively as far as their experience in that space at that time. So yesterday I was at Nemesis Coffee here in Vancouver. Nemesis Coffee was opened in 2017 by a local entrepreneur, young entrepreneur, who I'm hoping to get on the show, fingers crossed, and his friends. They opened up this coffee shop, which, as far as I know, not knowing a ton about coffee, is one of the better spots in the city for coffee. But the reason I love it is because of the vibe and the culture that they create, and then therefore the customer experience. So what I take from it is they always have amazing music on, which is a big thing for me. I think they almost exclusively play quality like instrumental hip hop and some old Motown, which is kind of right up my alley. So it speaks to me from that standpoint. But it's not just the music, it's about the style of the music and then how that dictates the rest of the space. And really, what I find is in a space like Nemesis, everything makes sense. Everything talks to one another and it isn't disjointed. And like I've talked about before on this podcast and in a lot of my blogs, is restaurant industry and business in general is like a dance, and you want your dance to feel, look, and just be a certain way. And I feel like with Nemesis, what they've done is that dance is smooth and it's a dance of all their own, but it just works. So from a culture standpoint, it really starts from the entrepreneur that started this venture. It starts with the leadership group and them setting up what that culture is and then impacting it down on their staff. And I don't want to use the word down on their staff, but kind of showing their staff, I guess, for lack of a better term, of how they want things done, and letting their staff put their own twist on it and execute it their own way, but doing it so it falls within the culture that they've created at Nemesis. So there are a lot of other businesses and restaurants just like Nemesis Coffee here in Vancouver that have such a proud root for what is and what can be their culture. And then it's amazing to see the customer experience that comes out of that. And I'm a big believer that the healthier your culture is, the healthier your customer experience is. So what I want to see more of in our global industry is people really taking the culture and the customer experience seriously and reaching out to myself or other peers if you do need help to really impact that culture. If you do feel like you have far too much work on your plate, how is it possible for you to impact culture? I think that's when you need to reach out to your peers or to other specialists and really look at what they can do, what they can bring to your business, because we cannot undervalue how important culture is in any business, even in a household, in a family. What is your culture? What are your views? Where are you going? What are your goals? All of those things. And does it align day in and day out with what you're doing? But I feel like our industry, being hospitality, it is uber important to have a tight culture that is going to not only allow for you and the other leadership team to get your message across of what you're trying to do with that business, but also empowering your staff with your culture as well. And again, letting them take the few absolute non-negotiables that you have within your culture and putting their own unique spin on it, which I think is such a healthy thing in today's day and age as far as employment and opportunities, and looking at intriguing and retaining and attracting the right staff is having, your set culture, but allowing for there to be some gray area as well. So I just wanted to jump on and see what you guys thought about culture, how it impacts you in your day to day. Does it impact you in your business? Are you paying attention to it? Are you nurturing it? What is it? How do you define the culture at your restaurant? And I would argue if you don't know what that is, then you should take a serious look at what it can be or what it should be, or what maybe it is without you even knowing. So what is your culture without you even saying anything? How are you leading? Are you leading by example? All these questions need to be asked, and they should not be undervalued. They are super value as they impact your business day in and day out, and likely will be the difference between you attracting amazing staff and team members, but also the difference between you attracting consistent customers, which is such an important thing. And one of the reasons why I will most certainly be going back to Nemesis if I'm ever in downtown Vancouver looking for a coffee or looking to meet up with someone for a coffee, that will be my spot to go, because they literally are crushing it. So shout out to Nemesis, shout out to all of you out there who are putting culture first and allowing that to dictate and impact your success. If you guys do want to find out more about how maybe I can help you in your culture, please do reach out. I would love to chat and see if working together would be an option, something that would work for both of us. I want to help everyone I can in this industry be better and realize their true potential. And I want to take everyone that was, if you've been doing it for 7 years and you feel exhausted, I get it. But there was a certain time amongst those 7 years where you just were full of zest and life and passion for this industry. I want to work with you to see if we can get you back there and just watch the impact that in itself has on your culture. That's it for me, guys. Thank you so much for tuning into the podcast. I truly appreciate you all. If you enjoyed this podcast and you know someone else that would, I would mean the world to me if you would share it with them. If you haven't already, like and subscribe to the Half Dozen Hospitality Podcast. Hop onto YouTube, give us a like there as well and a subscribe, and stay tuned to next week for a brand new episode. And until then, you know what to do. Be good and do good. Peace.